Sanibonani, welcome back to another episode of Hearty Thursdays. Mama Wezizwe Sibiya, and I'm here to fill your hearts with art. In this podcast, we talk about art. We talk to the people that make the art, the people behind the people that make the art, and the people that make the art, but a lot of people don't know that they do. And today we have an amazingly talented artist in the house. Our guest, Mbongeni, is a visual artist. Welcome to Hearty Thursdays.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. I really appreciate it.
Nah, for sure. Awesome. I couldn't say no.
Are you well?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm well. I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be here. And as usual, I like talking about art and just expressing, the things we get into in the creative industry.
Dope. Please tell us about yourself.
My name is Mbongeni Fongoqa. I'm also known as Human Being Design. That's Human Being Design with an HUE in front. So, my whole life I've been drawing, man. I just did not know that, there was an industry where I could be creative and actually do this on a daily basis. Growing up, it was always watching my older uncles, my older brothers, because you know what it's like. After a football match, everyone is trying to draw Ronaldo. After Dragon Balls, everyone is trying to draw Goku. So I've always had that sort of workshop going on in the family and some critiques that, you drew this well, you couldn't draw this. But it never really got serious, and I never took it serious until I started growing up. And when I looked at my old school books, I saw that, man, I've been drawing like forever. So yeah, it's always been there. I was just lucky enough to stumble into graphic design and start doing art professionally. It was just like, I felt like it was pure luck because, to be honest, I didn't know what I was going to do after school. So yeah, I was lucky enough to land in the right places.
And you landed in something that you love and not just something that you're good at. And that doesn't happen very often. What was it like growing up in Queenstown, and how was it like living for the first time when you went to school?
Man, Queenstown is so grounded and so cultural. So one of the things I really appreciate about Queenstown is being a kid and having all these different stages. It's like maybe in summer we make cars with wire. In winter we make toys with clay, or we go swimming or we go hunting. So I appreciate having the different stages where we got to do different things as a community, because looking back now, those were just workshops, but no one was facilitating or paying for them. But we were like learning and sharpening skills, because most of the things we did were revolving around creativity. We were just looking for things we could use to play, but yeah, it was a lot of creative moments, and I actually learned a lot from those creative moments. And yeah, it's just rich memories that I'm gonna cherish forever.
That's dope. I think that's what creativity is, play in a way. And at our most natural state, we are just creatives, like we are creativity. How did your grandfather and family influence your creativity?
Well, growing up, I felt it as an indirect influence because, it was just there, and I would choose if I want to pay attention to it or not. So it played a very big role because it was always there, It would always wait for me to come back and be interested. And if I'm not interested, regardless, there's still creative people around me. So it played a huge role in the sense that it was just always in my life, whether I was aware of it or not. It was just always there, and that gave me enough time to sort of, look at different aspects of it, because, like I said, some people in my family were doing different things and they liked drawing different things. So yeah, I really appreciate the fact that it was always there, and, I had a lot of time to live and witness creativity.
Yeah. So when did you realize that creativity could be a career and not just a hobby?
Oh man. So like I said, I had no idea that this could be a career. All I knew is that all my school books were full of drawings. All my activity books were full of drawings. My school furniture was full of drawings. So coming to Cape Town, I was more interested in music. I was like really taken by music. I just liked the idea of how it got my mind out of where I was, and I got to imagine, a different life. So being interested in music, what happened is that I used to go to these parties, with lounges and people chilling. So there was this other party called the Cool Out Lounge. I was actually not supposed to be there that night. I knocked off from work, the job I was doing. I don't know what I was doing there, but I was working there. So I went to this Cool Out Lounge party and I met this guy who just came from Bloemfontein at the time. And he was a graphic designer. And he said, graphic design. I'm like, dude, what is that? Story short, we chilled and it was on a Wednesday. On a Saturday, we chilled again. So he got to show me his portfolio. He was like, hey, dude, this is what I do, man. I do logos, bruh. I do style guides. I do scripts for films. I'm like, whoa. So after that, I did not even doubt, not even for a sec. I knew it. I'm getting paid month end. After I get paid, I'm leaving work. I am going to enroll for graphic design. And I found what I came here to do because when you're in school, it's like you get these clever kids that just know I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna study that, I'm gonna study this and that for 3 years, and then after 3 years, I did not know what I was gonna do. I was like, hey, how do these people know what they're gonna study? Anyway, let me just study. So yeah, when I found graphic design, I was like, yes, I found it. This is the one. I'm doing this. So yeah, I've been there ever since.
No, that's really amazing. And how also you got to see it. And I think this also shows how access to information is important. Because if you never ran into that guy, you never would have known what you were supposed to be. And it's not because you were incapable of being that, because you're already drawing, you already doing the graphics. But it was just, learning and being exposed to it as a career or it as something that you could even go to school for. That's dope. I also bartend sometimes at Langdimon. So how do you think that experience shaped your journey as a human being?
Oh, being a bartender. And so I was fresh from school then. I was just looking for a way to buy new kicks, really. I needed new kicks, needed some jeans, can't always go crying to moms. So I became a bartender. I think one of the main things I learned there was how to pay attention to detail in terms of people, because we had this huge floor, right? Full of customers buying things, and sometimes they would change seats. So someone would order and then walk away. I must quickly remember what hairstyle they had, what top they were wearing, what kind of shoes, do they have it, so that if they get lost, I can still find them and give them their drink, So yeah, it was a cool experience. But like I said, when I was there, I was just there. I did not know how long I'm going to be there. What are the plans for the future? I was just like, I'm working when I get paid. And yeah, but it was a cool experience in terms of learning to identify people and, finding the person who ordered the drink from you.
Yeah, I think so too. When 10 people are going to open a tab, you need to remember who ordered what and how much that amounts to. So yeah, I understand very well. What was your first major creative breakthrough?
Oh man. Okay, cool. So while I was studying, you get these manila envelopes, right? Also, you would get a brief. Your lecturer would give you a brief like, hey, go and create a logo for this new burger place and make the logo, blah, 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 and do the menu. So after you do all of that, they would put the brief in an envelope. And after you finish your research, you would also put your research in that envelope to submit. So on my way to school, I would be sitting with these envelopes and I started drawing on them. Yeah, I'm bored. I started drawing on all these envelopes. But I did not, it was again that natural thing that keeps kicking in. I did not know why I'm drawing on them or if anything is going to happen. So the big break came when I was doing my third year and I was just playing around on the internet. And I saw Design and Daba, Imagine Creatives. I'm like, let me just apply for this. I applied, uploaded those envelopes that I was drawing, and then I got admitted. And then I went into exhibits, and even then I still didn't know what I was actually getting myself into. But when I was exhibiting, oh man, that's when everything went crazy, because there were people from all over the world, right? Like all over the world. And the way they were reacting towards my drawings sort of woke me up, like, whoa, whoa. Because you find people just shaking, like, I want that one, and they'll like almost fight over it. I want that, I'm paying, no,
Really?
I'm paying. I'm like, what? This is insane,
And that
man.
was your first time exhibiting?
It was my second time exhibiting, but first time exhibiting officially, because I had a pre-run where we organized our own exhibition and we were just trying to see how things go. But the designing now, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I remember at some point, I don't know what kind of problem I had. I think I invited my friend over. I gave him a ticket. So he was having an issue with the security guy and he was sort of stressing me out. But when I came back and saw how people were acting towards the illustrations, they were all over the stand. They didn't know it was me. Everyone was going crazy, looking for the person for the stand. And then that stress just dissolved. I was like, yo, man, I'm doing something great here. Like with these drawings, I'm doing something awesome. And then people started giving me advice and tips and networking and connecting. So yeah, that year was, things have never been the same, man. Things have never been the same, yeah.
That's dope, man. That sounds like it was a very great experience.
No, it was crazy.
And what was the biggest challenge that you faced as a creator?
The biggest challenge, I always say this to my other creative friends. I'm like, guys, I don't know how it works with you. Maybe with you, you get calls, people call you, they want stuff. I mean, that happens. But the biggest challenge to me, I noticed that I always have to initiate a business, like, interaction. I always have to, it's never like you get a call, cool, come, you sign, it's done. You always have to send something, a proposal, break it down, how you're going to do it, So even though some collaborations come through and I would say out of the blue, someone wants to collaborate, but the ones that I feel are worth it and the bigger ones and the ones that I can actually highlight in my career, I've always had to make a way forward, approach someone in a decent way, scale it, see if it's really going to work, So yeah, the biggest challenge is just always finding the kind of clients that I want, you know what I mean? Even though I would work with any client, almost any client, I think the challenge is finding the specific kind of clients that I want that really appreciate what I do, yeah.
That you also need for your growth. No, I get that. I get the difference. If you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice, career advice, like when you were still maybe starting out, what would it be?
Man, I would say don't worry too much about what's going to happen next year or next week. Focus on where you are right now. Focus on what you are doing right now and get today right. Tomorrow is coming, but get today right so that tomorrow you'll have enough room to accommodate tomorrow. Because if you don't get today right, tomorrow you have to get yesterday right and today and think about tomorrow. So I would say just collect your mind, get whatever it is that you're doing now right, focus on now, get today right, and tomorrow you can have a nice clean slate.
Yeah, thank you. Even for me, that's great advice. Cause I do spend some of my time just worrying, but it's like life takes care of itself. Let me do what I can right now. Like, what can I do right now?
For sure.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. What was it like being the main designer for USA magazine in 2020?
Oh man. Okay, cool. So after designing Daba, I was already in contact with some people for Light SA. That's the year Mandela died, 2013, yeah. So they just called me in for the cover story and the cover. So I was pretty excited. Got there was a team of copywriters, team of photographers. They had people who go into the streets and actually get the stories and interview the people. So it was exciting because all the content was already put together and they actually delivered it to me in a meeting and I knew what the magazine was about. And then it was fun when I did the cover. I remember after I finished doing the cover, it was around this time, I think. I was like, hey, we're knocking off, we're leaving. And then the news came in that, yo, Mandela just died. Huh? And then there was a carnival downstairs. There was a carnival happening. Like, yeah, I'm going to the carnival. They're like, no, dude, you have to illustrate Mandela like right now. Like, illustrate Mandela right now. We're putting him on the cover. I'm like, what? I have this style that I know that, okay, whenever I use the style, it's going to be dope. It's going to be quick and no one is not going to approve it. So yeah, quickly did that. That was a nice highlight, I think, for the Live SA magazine. Quickly did Mandela. And then the following day, we updated the logo. It was me and Lascarina. Because the logo needed some revamp, we quickly revamped the logo and the issue came out. And yeah, that was pretty cool. It was cool.
No, it sounds like, yeah, no, your journey has been like full of not just great experiences, but like so much learning,
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about the experience as a junior packaging when you were at Woolworths. How was that like, and how did it impact your overall growth?
It's actually a weird story because I did not want to go to Woolworths. Like I was not exposed to what Woolworths is, I was not the kind of person who goes shopping and so I didn't really know what Woolworths is, and I knew it was a shop, but in my mind I didn't think they were very design friendly or creative enough, because keep in mind I'm doing illustrations, I'm drawing, and I look at Woolworths, it's just plain blue. It's a blue sky and one block.
Black and white.
I'm not going there, guys. I want to do monsters, with this like saliva coming out. But I did go to Woolworths because I'm like, hey, dude, I just finished school, need to work. So it was cool. I was working with Brian Tongana and Richard Quintal, which was a pretty cool team. We're doing packages, and one of the greatest jobs I worked on was the Halloween theme. So I got to create about 7 monsters, and then we put them into different packaging suites. Okay. That's gonna go out and roll out nationally. But what became even more great is that after working in the packaging department doing those little monsters that they're gonna put on the sweets packages and whatever, I switched departments and went to visual merchandise at Woolworths still. So at visual merchandise, it was more of you walk into the store, there's a big bed, it's written beds here, this corner, foods here, big strawberries, nice fonts. So moved into that
you were the one who was
Yeah, but I was more into the food section. There were other people for other sections. So what became nice is that when I moved into the VM, I had finished doing the Halloween designs the previous year. Now the following year, I'm doing VM for the same monsters. So now I'm blowing them up and putting them around the store. But by the time I finished working on them and forgot them, it was even nicer when I was walking into the store and I saw them like, whoa, here they are.
Yeah, now grown.
Yeah, that was a super highlight because I like drawing monsters also. So seeing my monsters across South Africa, every Woolworths store, yeah, it was insane.
How did that come about? Like you falling, because I'm sure you drew cars and houses and whatever when you were in high school. But then how did you then be like, oh my, okay, this feels different?
It felt different because firstly, there was a structure and everything sort of had to get approved. The color had to get approved. Like we would maybe use 8 or 10 different colors, but it's not just random colors. They all have to have a link, and they must complement one another. They must go with this year's theme for the store. They must if it's too bright, because if maybe a yellow is too bright, it can actually even impact sales. It can either make sales more or make them less. So everything was sort of scientifically calculated in terms of marketing. There was even a room whereby it's just pieces of paper like this, and it's greens, like a million different greens, reds, yellows. So it was everything was very researched and thought through, and every concept gets done a year before. So Christmas for last year is done this year, Christmas for next year, So everything was just, you always felt like everything is
professional.
Everything is top notch, and and you just felt like you're learning, and it was just good to have a team that guided me and made sure that everything comes out, the monsters come out, the colors work, everything works well. Yeah.
So even in your own personal work, do you also enjoy drawing monsters?
Oh yeah, I mean, most of the things I enjoy are monsters. Yeah, even if it's not a monster, I like the idea of making a character that has a soul or a spirit, if I may say. Maybe a soul is too much. A spirit, yeah, a character that has a spirit. You look at, You feel like it's alive. You can even imagine the kind of powers it might have or capabilities it might have. And I have a thing with the eyes. I prefer all my characters to have eyes, sometimes a mouth. Not really a fan of drawing a nose. I don't know why. If I draw a nose, it's probably for a client or for someone. But for me, I prefer them to have eyes and a mouth. The eyes help to be the window to their spirit or give you some sort of mood of what type of mode they are in. You would find some look evil, some look curious, some look scary, some look sad, some look confused. So I just like playing with those type of emotions.
Dope. And then tell me about your role at Formula D.
Formula D. Formula D. Formula D was cool, man. I was in Joburg and they called me up and I was working with some guy called JJ. And Formula D is a big house. So they do, when you're at the mall, there's that big screen there. Get there, you press, I am looking for a certain shop. So at Formula D, I would do things like that, like those little elements. But it was more for educational games. There was this really cool one that I did. It was a cooking game. So what would happen in the game is that a kid would come through. They're actually teaching them about eating healthy and nutrition and all those things. A kid would come through, press on the screen, and then there would be like carrots, potatoes, different kind of veggies. And then they would maybe press on carrots. The minute they press on carrots, they could press on a knife and chop that carrot up. So I would have, my role would be to illustrate a carrot chopped once, chopped twice, chopped 3 times, illustrate a carrot boiling in a pot, illustrate a carrot, being ripe, being this, being that, different stages, and then illustrate a plate with different types of foods to help the kid cook on the screen. So at Formula D Interactive, it was cool because I got to work in a digital space. And I got to play games to make sure that everything works, like are these carrots ready frying or are they look cooked? Let me go fry them again, So yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun. But also to see the big clients that the kind of clients they had, like where I just was now at Institution Hill, they did some illustrations for that, but I never got to see them. Did a lot of exhibition stuff where the board of the whole entrance or that little description that you're going to see when you walk in. They had a lot of those, but mostly it was digital stuff, games, animals, sharks, making sure they can swim, they can do all kinds of things. So yeah, Formula D Interactive was really awesome in that sense.
It sounds like it's, what would you say is the key lesson that you've learned from working in corporate design environments?
Oh man, this one is a funny one. I've noticed in most cases, what you think is cool and it's going to work for the project, the client, most cases, they like what you don't like. Yeah, true. You would have 3 cool designs and you're like, oh, they wanted 5. Let me just do 2 lame ones to make it to 5. They'll choose one from the lame ones and the one that you wanted. So yeah, I guess you always have to reserve room to make sure that you really know what the client wants. Yeah, even though you feel like they came to you because they saw your cool painting or illustration, you still have to reserve that room to make sure that you know what they want and you can deliver what they want, because it's easy to get, especially after the first meeting, because you're excited, the client is excited, it's easy to get lost in that. So I always just prefer to just take notes, and even though I became really good at listening and actually keeping information, it's still cool to take notes and make sure that you get what they want. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dope. What's the most fulfilling projects that you've worked on so far?
Oh man, so far. I'm trying to think of something recent.
Could be commercial, could be, but like the projects that you'd be like, you know what, here, my soul.
I think, to be honest, because life is going forward and not backwards, right now it has to be the series that I just finished now, called Reality Mesh. It's exhibiting on Saturday, opening on Saturday. What's the date on Saturday? But yeah, on Saturday.
Saturday.
This Saturday. So yeah, I'm dropping off the artwork on Saturday morning and I'm checking at the space and doing things like that. But yeah, it's a series of 6, but I've only finished 4 of them. So I'm showing those 4 pieces, but they're all over the space on my social media. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that series because it's monsters and it's monsters that I've had on paper for quite a while, but now I want to see them grow. I want to see them in like wall murals. I want to see them. I don't know. There's something satisfying about seeing them on a larger scale. So yeah, it's a really cool series that I did. I think that's my highlight at the moment.
So, what does your creative process look like when you're starting a new project?
Well, it depends on the project. Like
It's never the same.
it's never the same. Someone would come and say, "Hey, edit this video for me, edit this audio for me, and make sure this and that is not there." Someone else would be like, "Hey, I want this packaging." And it's always whenever someone wants something, because the creative spectrum is so wide, I always prefer to have at least show me 3, 4 examples. You can't say design the packaging for a cool drink. Now I don't know if it's we're doing for Coke, we're doing for we're doing for Sprite, we're doing for more fire. We don't know. So it's always nice to have some sort of guidance. Like, okay, cool. This is where we're playing at. This is my target audience. These are because that's going to determine the type of colors that's going to appeal to them, the type of font that's going to appeal to them, and are they going to understand it first time they see it? Because sometimes you find a good design, but it's like no one gets it. People buy it because they know the owner or they saw a detailed advert. So it's always nice when a design you see it, you get it. Like, I know what this is. I know what I'm getting from this. You know what I mean?
Would you say school helped you to be able to like conduct yourself like that and to understand things to that? Because there are quite a lot of graphic designers that I know, but other people may fall short and may even, not be able to make the right decisions or to even sustain themselves as graphic designers because they don't understand these things.
I mean, school is important because our world is run in English. There's contracts. There's this. There's that. There's copyright infringement. There's copy. So yeah. You definitely need to have some school background and some basic. Even though I believe it's possible to do it without, because if you would check, it probably won't be the same, but it's possible to do without school. Because if you check maybe rural areas, maybe someone needs their shop to be branded. They don't have to speak English. They don't have to write you a contract and tell you when the deadline is. So I feel like there is a space in the informal sector where people can actually get into as designers and actually be successful. But there's probably a lot of groundwork to be done and a lot of sacrifice in terms of time and in terms of financial budgets and things like that. But you don't necessarily, I would say you need to be good at what you do. Be good at what you do. If you're not good, work on becoming good. But it's not necessarily about school. You can pull it off without school. But there's certain patterns that you would have to take that other designers don't take. You know what I mean? There's certain things you'd have to do that other designers don't do. But yeah, it's definitely possible because it's about, I look at it, I get it. And also, it's not only professional. You can go off ramp and just do art and not do commercial work. You know what I mean? Just do art that fulfills people and people want it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like a matter of choosing where you want to be,
Yeah, I get that. What influences your color choices and composition?
I have a thing for soft colors. I like soft colors, soft purple, soft red, soft pink. All those, I call them baby colors. If you walk in a baby's room, there's a crepe, there's some stars, like everything is soft. There's no Valentine's red, like everything is soft. So I like drawing monsters that look very spiritually what's the word? Challenging. But I like to tone them down with color, because if they're gonna look messed up, they might as well have nice soft colors, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of contrast is always good. What themes do you find yourself returning to in your work?
I have this thing just for characters that are looking at you. I like characters that look at you. So I always go back to characters that look at you. Like, I don't know, man. It's one of the things that I also enjoy about the process of my work, because I also notice that wherever I go, like for example, if I would change cities now or change where I'm living and go live in another place, whenever I get to a new place, the style changes. Whenever I hang around new people, the style changes. If I'm changing my lifestyle, the style changes. Sometimes the characters, I'll be like, whoa, okay, these new characters are crazy. Even I'm not used to these guys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I really enjoy watching the characters come out and being the first one to witness that, okay, cool, my style has changed and it's evolving. But I think it has something to do with how I feel and how I perceive the environment around me, and who I really connect with or don't connect with, because I feel like everything just inspires me. I just don't know how it comes to being a character and being on a page, but I know that it's that same energy.
Mm. Wow. What do you think makes a great illustration to stand out?
Detail. Detail. And by detail, I don't mean fine, small things, you know. Detail, like I look at it, I get it. Like I don't have to wonder or not be sure. I look at it, I know what it is. I think that was what makes a great illustrator.
Wow. How do you incorporate storytelling into your art and design?
Man. So it depends what kind of story. Like I can make a very vivid story and draw a girl and say this girl is walking to school. Draw a school, draw a car, and you know I can make it like that. But I also just prefer for people to think. I like when people think different things. You know, I don't like having one narrated story that everyone gets, even though that works for corporate.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like the art that I like doing, I just like people to, I like that idea that today I'm in a certain place, I look at this, I feel a certain way. Tomorrow I'm feeling different, I'm sad or I'm excited. I look at that same thing and I find another emotion that is evoked. So I just like a story that is not too direct and not or even impossible to get. Just you just know there's something, but you know you want to look at it every time. Even when you walk into the reception, you're waiting for something. You don't feel yourself, but you're looking at it. Your mind is like, what is going on there? So I like those kind of stories whereby it's like it's never really resolved. You know, even me as an artist, I can't really resolve it, but I can tell you how it makes me feel, and I can tell you where the feelings come from. But I like the never-ending type of story that I don't mind looking at this.
So earlier you said that you can work with almost everyone. You didn't say everyone. So how do you decide which projects to take on?
I mean, you know, there's the business side of things. Firstly, you know, you have to keep things going. You have to keep the lights on. So yeah, before I even get creative, the first initial thing I do is to look at the business aspect of it. Like, is this project worth it business wise? Say the person doesn't have a budget. I look behind them. Why are they doing this? Are they passionate? Are they really into this? You know, so things like that would determine if I'm gonna be involved in the project or not. You know what I mean? But it's always first and foremost, you know, making sure that this is gonna serve a good purpose to the business that I'm putting out, and it's going to satisfy the person that I'm working with, and of course the people that are witnessing what I'm doing for this person are gonna see that I did a very good job. So yeah, first and foremost, it's just looking at it from a business angle.
So how can brands use design to communicate like more effectively?
Yeah, like I said, man, it's always, I feel like an effective design is you look at it, you get it. Never mind the level of excitement you get from it. It could be super cool. You get it, you get really excited, you know, or it could be just normal. You see it, you're like, yeah, this is what my mom wants. You take it off the shelf, you get it immediately. So I think just a level of that the design is easy to understand. I get the design, and you know, I know the competitors, and this is standing out from the competitors. So yeah, that entails a lot of things like we highlighted before: fonts, colors, the type of images are on there. Is it a woman? Is it a girl? Is it a white person? Is it a black person? Is it a young kid? Is it an old kid? You know, because I noticed with a lot of brands, they always make sure that they know their target market and they're pushing out adverts out there. They know that, hey, if we're advertising beef stock, we know who's buying beef stock. We're not gonna guess. We're not gonna, if it's Archer, we know who it's Archer. So the demographics need to reflect that, the style, the fonts, all those things need to come together to combine in that one language.
Yeah, there was a big brand that was facing things on social media because they did not understand their audience or their consumers. So, what are some of the tips that you would give to artists that are trying to build their brands?
Yeah, man. Just I think firstly, value your brand, and then have a vision for your brand. Know where you want to see it, where you want it to go there. You might not necessarily know all the steps of how you're gonna get there, but you must know what you want for your brand. And there's nothing wrong with changing your goals and changing your objectives, but it's very important that they are there. You know that, okay, I want to take my brand from here to there. And then also keep checking back, how is that progress going? What kind of steps am I taking to get there? Am I doing it? Am I not doing it? If you're not doing it, you have to restructurize. But I think believing in your brand and having a vision for your brand, because if you want people to see your brand a certain way, you first must see your brand a certain way so that you can be able to push that brand. When I was starting out as a student, it was very random. I was just doing very random things, just random things. But over the years, it's like I need to get more concentrated. I need to see it as a brand, believe in it, and have some sort of guidelines that I want it to be in between here. And in the end, I want it to be in it at a certain level. So just keeping at it, polishing it, knocking it in, making sure it's on path with your goals. And just learning as you go along, because there will be parts where you're not sure about things. There will be parts where you need to research certain things, but as long as you make sure that it still aligns with your brand, I think that's the way.
And what would you say is one of the biggest mistakes that brands make in their visual identity?
I've seen some brands that don't do copy check in terms of native languages, It's always embarrassing for me to drive down the streets and I see a billboard written in Zulu and the spelling is terrible. Or you don't know what they're talking about. So I think some brands don't want to reach down into, the cultural people that know the things that they're selling. They'd rather stay up there and just create content and filter it down and hope it goes well. So I think, if brands, I'm not saying all brands, but if most brands would stop being afraid of coming down to where the people that are buying these things and actually doing activations and actually like when they take, understand them, do like questionnaires, understand them, don't just do an activation at the mall and leave. Like really get the information so that now if something, let's say, is being cancelled, because you are on the ground with these people, you know them, in advance that we're not using this, people don't like this. Whereas if you put something they don't like, you won't understand why they don't like it. You know what I mean? I would say just stay on the ground, know your people, really know their culture, how they live, the things they do.
No, that's great, and that's very true. Because how important or why is consistency important in branding and design?
So it's sort of like consistency is good in the sense that, for an example, if MTN had 5 different yellows, there'd be a lot of scanning going around, So that consistency, that this is our yellow, this is our green, this is our font, this is our color. It creates trust, firstly, for the consumer. It creates trust for the person who's trying to get the service or the product. And it eliminates a lot of not being sure, like, was that F&B or was it not? The tree looks a bit like, I know their tree is straight, but that one, I think I saw an apple on the tree, or, So consistency makes sure that, it looks the same, that this is the brand, these are the guidelines. And even when you work with a new brand, the first thing they'll do, they'll give you their logo, they'll give you their brand guidelines, in their brand guidelines, it's the fonts, it's the colors, it's the do's and don'ts, it's this and that, so that no matter what you do with the brand, it's all over the world, it's coming out the same. Yeah, it's the same. And if you didn't do it the same or you miss something, it won't get approved. It's gonna come back. You have to reestablish it again. So yeah, consistency. Just make sure that your people are your people. Even the people that are not yours, they know that that's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, no. What excites you most about transitioning into animation?
Animation is nice because now it creates, because it's a magical moment already. You have this character, you have this thing. Now with animation, you get to give it a real voice. You can make it talk. You get to play around with its capabilities. Can it fly? Can it run? Can it talk? Is it full of jokes? Is it always grumpy? Is it like what's this character? It's not an illustration, but I like hippo. So with animation you get to extend the personality of whatever you're working on, which is super great because now you're having more power to shape this world and actually capture someone's mind and give them the point that you're trying to make. So yeah, animation is really great. It takes time, and it's really takes time, but yeah, it's really awesome when you're done with a project.
No, it does sound like it. It sounds like a lot of fun. It's something I would like to explore also in the future. What are some of the skills that you are currently working on developing outside of animation?
Just editing videos, finding the sweet spots in videos. Also kinetic typography. I'm really enjoying that, even though it's made easier these days with AI.
What?
Kinetic typography. So that's when, as you're talking, there's words that are saying all the stuff down here. So back in the days, we used to actually type that, but now it's like you just pop the thing in an AI and change the font.
I've seen it a lot for like short videos.
Yeah, it's not even valued that much now. We used to value it a whole lot, but now it's like there are all these programs, dude. You just make sure your audio is good and pop it in there.
How do you feel about that, Bele, about AI?
I feel like AI is cool because I would work on a project sometimes. A client sends you an image. This thing is going to the printers. It's 10:30 at night. The client is asleep. You know for a fact tomorrow we're going printing. The image is low quality. You can pop that into an AI, be like, hey, make this high quality. Make it high quality. Go print tomorrow. So yeah, there are advantages when it comes to AI. I feel like I have not really explored much, but obviously I'm gonna because I love technology. But I've not really explored much with AI. I've just done some videos and some just quality control. Yeah, I've done a lot of quality control with AI.
And how do you approach learning new creative softwares?
Oh man, it's a bit frustrating because at my level, I just like looking at the screen, deciding what I'm gonna do, and I don't want to figure out where that button is and what it does. But what I would do whenever I'm in a situation whereby I have to, because it still happens, whereby you have to learn a new program, I just watch tutorials. Like if I'm gonna work on a project maybe next week or tomorrow, tonight I'm watching tutorial before I sleep. If I'm bored in the morning before I wake up, or if I wake up at night, I watch another tutorial. Tutorials, so that by the time I have to work, I don't like having to look for tools. I just want to get there and get it done.
You already know what is. No, I get that. What are the biggest challenges in like moving from static design to motion graphics, as now you are almost transitioning to animation?
Oh man, okay. Static design. If I'm drawing an apple with arms and the apple has a hat, that's done. Easy. With animation, I'm gonna draw an apple. I'm probably gonna draw 16 more arms that are like going to get the head and doing it. So it's just you need patience.
Yeah.
You need to calm down. You need to be organized. But like I said, these days I've seen easier ways to do animation. I've seen easier ways where you just don't make as many drawings as you usually did in the past. But yeah, I feel like if you still want it to be really authentic and beautiful, you still have to do all those small sketches. But yeah, I would say that's the big challenge. Just drawing the same thing or animating the same thing for different stages over and over. And when you've done working for like the whole day, you're like, oh, great. I only did 7 seconds, you know. It's like you were working for 4 days, you know what I mean? So yeah,
7 seconds.
yeah.
Imagine. Is there a way that you stay updated with trends in digital and motion design?
I like subscribing to my favorite designers, my favorite animators, my favorite illustrators. And I just like checking out, you know, news, what's trending, what's in, what's big. There's always this thing that always comes out. It's like, this is what's trending this year. This is what's trending this year. So just staying, even if you're not going to use those trends, it helps to know them so that, you know, if someone sends you an email and say they want a certain style, you know, like, oh, okay, cool. I've seen style. I know how I can exploit it and actually impress this person. So yeah, just always be on the lookout. Behance, Pinterest, news, all these design news things. Just always checking out, yeah, what kind of designs are out there. You know, always comparing if I can do them or not. You know, just always being checking it out.
Yeah, like, because social media is not necessarily all bad. It depends on how you use it. Because, like, if you're following the people that inspire you, that means every time you open your Instagram, like on your feed, you're just seeing people that are like, okay, you know what, let me try to do this thing as well, or let me try that idea.
Precisely.
What was your experience like working with the wine village in Germany?
Oh man, that was so unexpected. That was so unexpected. I think that was during COVID. There's this homie who came to Cape Town some year. This guy, like he liked partying a lot, like going to festivals, you know, crazy guy, you know, very crazy. That guy was actually crazy, man. Like, yeah, Victor. So Victor hit me up during COVID. He was like, yo, man, we had this festival in Germany and big thing. You're gonna be on TV here, blah 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 blah. But we're doing these wines, bro, and we need some labels. Okay, cool. We did some labels for him. Gave him. It's like, no, I actually wanted your style. Because I thought he wanted professional labels, you know, like professional. Like, no, man, this is a festival. We want your style, bro. We want crazy. We want characters. I was like, it sounds like you're telling me I can draw whatever I want. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, why'd you say so? So yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I mean, yeah. And I think he wanted 12 characters. I think I made like 42 with him. And he had to choose. But yeah, it was fun. It was awesome. Also because during COVID, there wasn't that much business. So I was blown away. Like, hey, why these guys are in a festival? It's COVID. Okay. But yeah, it was fun.
And how did the Evan Buds Beer collaboration come about?
It's the thing I was saying of making an initiative to a collaboration. So I went to buy some beer and I found this package. So most of my things I buy because of packages, because of how they look. So I saw this brown beer in a can with like illustrations all around it, and nothing much was really written. It was just beautiful, dark brown, some soft colors like I like. So I bought that beer, drank that beer. It was so nice. It tasted like chocolate cake, but
beer.
Yeah, like chocolate cake, but almost bitter, but not bitter. It was like it's a dark stout beer. So even the smell was amazing. I was like, fuck, man. So I took a photo of it, tagged them like, yo, this beer is crazy. I'm going to get another one. Got there, they were out. I'm like, what? Then I DM'd him like, hey dude, let's do this beers again, man. I can hook up a cover for them. And it sort of dragged a bit because the owner of the company was overseas at the time. And so I was like, whatever. We let it go. After a while, he hit me up like, hey dude, let's do this beers, man. I'm like, for real? It's like, yeah. So I went to the headquarters, decided we're going to do 2 beers. One was a fruit infringement, which is like the slightly yellow one with characters also. And, oh yeah, they made me choose which beer I liked, by the way. I got there, tasted all the beers, man. And those guys, like, every meeting, they like drinking. Nah, it was nice. Every meeting, everyone's drinking. So yeah, tasted the beers and said which one I wanted to sort of work with. And I really liked the chocolate porter because it's like milk stout. But when you taste it, it's not like milk stout. It's like, I want to be chocolate, I want to be bitter, but I'm just gonna be mild and leave it there till you take another sip. So yeah, did those 2 beers. That was super awesome. Did the launch, and yeah, the response was great. And yeah, I think they sold out in like 2 months or something. Yeah.
Yo, that sounds like a great success. Can you tell us about your exhibition at Gallery 57? Okay.
Oh snap! I remember that one. That was an initiative, and that was an initiative by Assemblage. There was a design studio called Assemblage, and what happened is that we were looking for artists to exhibit, and we had just had a series that we had finished called Freak Show. Still going on even now, but we more pushing the match and things like that now.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a funny exhibition because I was only here for the opening and then I had to go back to Cape Town. So I felt like I never really got to grasp how the exhibition went. But it was cool just to see the people there and check out, the vibes and people just admiring the work. And yeah, I didn't really experience it because I didn't stay for as much as I wanted. But yeah, it went well, man. It went well. The organizers were nice. The curators were cool. Everything was just smooth. There was no hiccups.
What inspired the skateboard collaboration with Alphabet Zoo and Human Being Design?
That's an interesting one. So I met the guys from Alphabet Zoo on my third year. Well, they were in Cape Town for Influx in the City. And then we've just always been in contact ever since then, back and forth. And then when I came to Johannesburg, one of the guys from Alphabet Zoo, Minenkulu, sort of, I was in Mbongeni where he stays, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm here. What's happening? Checking out his studio." And here I was like, "Hey, man, there's this skateboard deck. Do you want to jump on?" I'm like, "Of course, I want to jump on." So we did our first deck last year, which was the Joburg one. And then this year, 2024, for 2025, I applied again and I actually got an opportunity to do my own this time without collaborating with Alphabet Zoo. But with Alphabet Zoo, it was a great step in because now I got to work with other visual artists that have actually done some credible work in Johannesburg, and it was a really amazing collaboration. It felt like it was just fun the whole time. We were just like doing what we love.
Do you have any dream collaborations that you'd love to do in the near future?
Oh man, probably, man. I would like to work with Buff Monster. I know he's way too far from where I am, but I would like to work with Buff Monster. It would be cool to do something with Cindy Sognoni, even if we're not on the same thing, just to, be working on this series or whatever. It would be nice I really like the Alphabet Zoo guys. Even if I don't work with them, but I think it would be nice to work in the same space with them, Like my studio is here, like when I go to the kitchen, I pass to the students, like, "Yo, what's up?" That would be nice. And who else would I like to work with? There's big brands, I really like packaging. So I wouldn't really say what brand, but it would be nice to do a package for a nice brand since I love packaging so much. Because I always see, whenever I go shopping, I always see brands that I could improve on and be like, "Yo, it would be nice if they would take this brand position and take it from this angle." Like, for an example, this other one we did, it was Top Cat. So when we were doing research, we figured out that people are actually mistaking, if you have a cat, the cat is not your pet. You are the pet. Because if you want to stroke a cat can walk away and be like, "Don't touch me." But if it's hungry, it's gonna come and play between your legs and do this. So what we did with that campaign is that we literally took shots of people and literally put a cat on their head. And then we had a Top Cat, and the whole campaign was just based on how a cat is the master, how a cat will not move on it, how a cat will not move on a chair when you're trying to sit. You have to, "Hey, here you go," and it's like, and the way it looks at you, it's like, "Who do you think you are?" So it's just campaigns like that. That was pretty cool,
Is there an industry trend or a project that you are currently excited about?
I think at the moment I'm excited about what's happening at Origin Art with the skateboards and just being in a vibrant space and networking and connecting with different people and having a look at how we could do activations and actually do more things in the space. So I think it's really exciting to be, in the activation space because you get an opportunity to wow people, They'll be walking in thinking everything is normal and there's an activation behind them that's like doing something weird, So I'm really enjoying that space of doing activations, just mainly creating those wow moments where people take out their phones fast and want to take a video or a photo of it. But it's always been fun. Activations have always been fun, even when I'm doing them for like corporate purposes, like at the mall or things like that, like Vita Theon or Sprite or whatever. It's always fun to do something that people are gonna, that's gonna involve people on a direct element, So yeah, I'd say that's a good place to be.
I get it. What's next for you in your creative journey? Like next 5 years creatively, do you have any plans?
Ah man, I just want to continue building my brand.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I have this thing of having my artwork on larger scales. So I want to move more into building murals. I just want to see my work go bigger and bigger and bigger. So because it feels very satisfying when it's on a larger scale, but also I don't want to lose the aspect of the professional side of things. I don't want to lose the aspect of doing professional logos, doing branding, doing corporate work, just making sure that because that's the actual real core of the business, because there that you're not relying on someone who's going to like the painting or someone who's good. You know that this is for a purpose and it's going to be proved and tested and it's going to serve the purpose. So yeah, just next 5 years, still want to do corporate, still want to do paintings, just more structured in the sense that I want the paintings to go larger and I would like them to be exhibited more. But I would definitely like them to be bigger, to be very big because I like big illustrations. And it's just keeping the corporate side of things and moving into spaces where I get to work with athletic brands and things like that. Yeah, it's just the exciting parts.
Yeah, it sounds like an exciting times to come. So when can people find you or connect with you and with your work online?
So it's Human Being Design, HUE, Man Being Design, and that's pretty much everywhere. Social media platforms, YouTube, everything is Human Being Design. And I love social media so much. You probably find me online there. So yeah, you can talk anytime.
You can slide and ask for some advice.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming,
Thank you.
for
Awesome.
engaging. Thanks. It was such an amazing episode.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for watching. Today we had the extremely talented Mbongeni. I hope you got something from it because I did. Thank you for coming. The podcast is available on YouTube. Please make sure that you subscribe, share, comment, like. If you would like to collaborate with us, send us an email. If you're working on a project and would like to find some potential collaborations, do send us an email. The email is mamaforwork@gmail.com or mamawezizwe@creativeenterprise@gmail.com. This is Umama Wezizwe Sibia, and I hope I am leaving you with the heart full of art.